Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz. This is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Saturday, August 31st, 2024. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my daily rundown best bet or my college football or NFL season pass, you can find those at the premium picks tab at pickdawgz.com. There's also a link in the description. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Saturday, the final day of August. First up, we go to Yankee Stadium as the Cardinals take on the Yankees. We got Kyle Gibson and Will Warren on the mound. Now, we know Will Warren's not fared too well this season with a 9.68 ERA through his first 4 starts. Now, the Yankees are 2-2 in those games, so they've been able to back him up offensively, but still giving up, 8 earned runs against the Angels or 5 earned runs against the Rockies away from Coors is not really what you want to see. The Cardinals haven't been a great offensive team this year, but I still think they'll be able to get to Warren for a few runs. And Kyle Gibson on the other side, he's been better on the road this season, but in general, in August, he's got an ERA just below 7 at 6.91, 27 in the third innings, 32 base hits, 6 home runs to go with it, 10 walks as well, including 4 in that last game against San Diego. I don't really trust him on the other side, so right now I'm leaning towards the over here in Cardinals-Yankees. Next up, we see the Chicago Cubs taking on the Washington Nationals. We got Javier Assad and DJ Hertz on the mound. Now, the Cubs' offense in the month of August has been one of the best in baseball, both against righties and lefties. So it's tough to go against Chicago right now. But, DJ Hertz pitched really well in that last game against the Braves. It was 5 innings of 1-hit shutout baseball, 8 strikeouts, and a 5-1 Nationals win. And that's a Braves team that's right up there with Chicago in the last 30 days against left-handed pitching. The key for me, DJ Hertz and a guy like Mitchell Parker, 2 guys that struggle with their control, especially in the minor leagues. And we've seen DJ Hertz, pile up the walks at times at the major league level as well. The Cubs, though, while they're having a great, offensive month, they have one of the lowest walk rates against lefties in the month of August at 5.4%. So if DJ Hertz is, limiting the walks and limiting the free passes, I think he'll be able to put together a strong outing, 5-6 decent innings, good amount of strikeouts to go with it. And I think he gives the Nationals a decent chance at competing, at least through the first half of this game. I don't really love this Nationals bullpen, so I'm just going to go with the Nationals in the first 5 innings. I think they can get to Assad for a couple of runs. Give me Washington. Next up is San Diego Padres taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. We got Randy Vasquez and Shane Baz on the mound. Randy Vasquez has not been great on the road this season, but his first start back on the road against the St. Louis Cardinals, it was a quality start and a Padres win 7-4. And I don't think he's going to be perfect in this game, but I don't think he needs to be, especially against a Rays team that's not been great offensively in overall this season or in the last month against right-handed pitching, where they're ranked 29th in baseball in team OPS with a 28% strikeout rate. On the other side, you got Shane Baz, who's pitching a lot better recently, but San Diego is a tough matchup. They limit strikeouts, they get on base, they have one of the best OPSs against righties in August. I think Baz can give up a few runs here, and it should be enough for a Padres win. I like Vasquez's matchup. I like the Padres bullpen. I'm going to go with San Diego in this one on the money line. Next up, the Boston Red Sox taking on the Detroit Tigers. We got Nick Pivetta and Tarek Skubal on the mound. Skubal didn't have his best start in that last game against the White Sox. He gave up 3 runs in 5 innings, 8 base hits to go with it, but he had 8 strikeouts, and it was still enough for a 13-4 blowout win for Detroit. He's been a very profitable option this season. Of course, the front runner for the AL Cy Young. I think he bounces back, and especially at Comerica, where he's been a lot better this season. You look at the Red Sox numbers against lefties in the last 30 days or in the month of August. They have a 27% strikeout rate. They're ranked 19th in team OPS. So not great numbers, below league average. Nick Pivetta's given up a lot of home runs recently. We know that that's been the issue in his career, similar to a guy like Aaron Savale. Gives up a lot of bombs, and he's given up at least 2 in his last 5 starts. So 10 home runs the last 5 games, not really what you want to see. I know Comerica is more of a pitcher-friendly ballpark. It could be a decent spot for Pivetta to bounce back, but I still like the Detroit Tigers' chances to win this game. Give me Detroit in this one on the money line and run line. Next up, the Pittsburgh Pirates taking on the Cleveland Guardians. Luis Ortiz and Matthew Boyd are your starters. I'm going to go with the Guardians in this one. Matthew Boyd looked pretty solid in his first couple of starts at the major league level. He pitched well in the rehab starts in the minor leagues as well. And Luis Ortiz was pitching pretty well in the bullpen for Pittsburgh this year. Hasn't been as effective as a starter. Now, he did pitch pretty well in that last game, a bounce-back start against the Cincinnati Reds. But I think the Guardians are a really tough matchup for him because they're able to limit those strikeouts. I think Cleveland takes this one. I'm going to go on the money line. In our next game, we go to the AL West as the Athletics take on the Rangers. We got Joey Estes and Cody Bradford on the mound. Joey Estes has pitched really well recently. I mean, a 4.37 ERA overall, but 2 earned runs or fewer in 4 of his last 5, and the other game was only 3 earned runs against the Mets. So he's been in pretty good form, and the A's have won 3 of his last 5 starts, including that last game against a tough Brewers team. I think he puts together a solid outing. The Rangers have not been great offensively this year. Now, the A's have not been the best against lefties in August, but they also have a really low BABIP and a pretty low strikeout rate, high walk rate. So I think they're honestly getting a little bit unlucky in August against lefties. Bradford's pitched okay so far, 3.31 ERA, but I do expect regression going forward. I think it's a good spot here for the Oakland Athletics. I'm going to go Oakland on the money line. Next up, we see the Kansas City Royals taking on the Houston Astros. A pair of lefties on the mound in this one, Cole Ragans and Yusei Kikuchi. Now, Cole Ragans, I still think, is one of the better pitchers in the American League, but he hasn't been as dominant recently. And even though the Royals are still winning his games, which is great, when you look at the last couple of starts, he really labored through those 4 innings against the Guardians, left the game early with an injury. He labored through those 5 innings against the Angels with 5 total runs. 4 of those were earned. Now, he's had 9 strikeouts. He's still able to miss bats, but he's given up a home run in 4 of his last 5 games. The walks are starting to pile up for him a little bit, and we know that the Houston Astros were able to get to him earlier in the season, right at the beginning of the year, back on April 9th. He gave up 10 base hits in that game, only 3 runs. He was able to battle back, and the Royals went on to win that game in extra innings, but it wasn't a great start. I think the Astros could get to him with how well Kikuchi's pitched on the other side. I got to go with the Astros in this game on the money line. Next up, the New York Mets taking on the Chicago White Sox. We're going to see Jose Quintana and Davis Martin as the starters. Now, Davis Martin recently, I would say the last month, has been the best option in this White Sox rotation. He's got a 2.96 ERA now through his first 27 and a third innings, right around a strikeout per inning, only 2 home runs given up. I think he keeps the White Sox in this game. And I mean, Jose Quintana on the other side, while he pitched well in that last game against San Diego, he had no strikeouts through 6 and a third innings. And we know he was really struggling the previous outings before that Padres game, giving up his last 9 innings, 11 earned runs, 15 base hits, and 3 bombs. The Mets have lost his last 5 games, so he's not been a profitable option. I'm going to take a shot here with Chicago plus the 1.5 runs on the money line at home. Next up, the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Minnesota Twins. Jose Barrios faces his former team, and Zebby Matthews on the other side for Minnesota. Now, Barrios had a pretty miserable July. When you look at the numbers, 6.08 ERA and 26 2/3, only had 21 strikeouts with 13 walks given up. But it's been a much different story in August. He's got a sub-3 ERA and 33 2/3. The Blue Jays are 4-1 in his 5 starts. His strikeout numbers are starting to pick it up again. He is still having issues, though, with the sharp contact and the base hits, and that's why I still think the Minnesota Twins win this game. It should be a lower scoring and pretty, entertaining game, but Zebby Matthews has looked pretty strong in his first couple of games at the major league level. I still think the Twins' bullpen is superior, even though the Blue Jays' bullpen has improved. And I just think that the Twins are going to be able to get those base runners early against Barrios and take advantage and win this game. So I'm going to go with the Twins on the money line in this one. Next up, we see the Atlanta Braves and the Philadelphia Phillies. Great matchup here with Max Fried and Zach Wheeler on the mound. Max Fried, we've talked about how he's not been the best against Philadelphia this season. He did pitch well against them, though, on August 21st, the most recent outing. It still, though, ended up being a loss for the Braves in the end. And with Zach Wheeler on the other side, pitching as well as he has, and especially at Citizens Bank Park, for me, it's tough to go against Philadelphia. I mean, they've crushed left-handed pitching this season. That includes the last 30 days. They're number 1 in team OPS against lefties. Low strikeout rate to go with it. I think they'll be able to get to Fried. I think Wheeler can put together another quality start. Then when you look at the bullpens, the Braves have one of the better bullpens in baseball on paper, but in the month of August, despite some pretty strong expected numbers, their ERA is rather steep at 4.8. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Phillies in this game. Should be a great one, though, in the NL East. Next up, the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Cincinnati Reds. Frankie Montas for Milwaukee facing his former team, and no official starter for Cincinnati. Right now, I'm leaning towards the over in this game. We're at a hitter-friendly ballpark. I still don't really trust Frankie Montas on the mound for Milwaukee. He wasn't great in that last game against Oakland. Now, we'll see who the official starter is for Cincinnati, but we know the Brewers are a solid lineup. The Reds' bullpen's been so-so this season. A little bit better in August, but I still think we see a higher scoring game. Not my favorite game on the board, but I'll lean towards the over here. In our next game, we go to Coors Field as the Orioles take on the Rockies. We got Dean Kramer and Ryan Feltner on the mound. I'm going to take a shot here with Colorado. I mean, Ryan Feltner's not been the best at Coors Field this season, but his last 2 full starts at Coors were 5 innings of 2-run ball and a 3-2 win, and 7 innings of 2 earned run baseball against the Giants in a close loss. But he's been a lot more competitive recently at Coors Field. Dean Kramer has no Coors Field experience. So far this season, a 4.31 ERA, but the expected numbers aren't the best. I think Colorado can get to him, and I think Colorado wins this game. So give me the Rockies on the money line. Next up, we see the Los Angeles Dodgers taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. We got Gavin Stone and Merrill Kelly on the mound. Now, in the first 3 starts back from injury for Merrill Kelly, he's got a 6.75 ERA, so he's not been in great form. He's had 7 walks given up, 3 home runs, and only 11 strikeouts in 16 innings. And he was able to battle back in that last game against the Red Sox, give the Arizona Diamondbacks 6 much-needed innings. He went 101 pitches, so that's all great to see. But right now, he's not in the best form. And I think eventually he'll be able to get back to that number 2 or 1B in the Diamondbacks rotation. But right now, he's just not pitching like that. And with the Dodgers on the other side, how well their offense has been, and the fact that Gavin Stone's in great form. I mean, he was struggling himself back in July, but in his last 3 games, he's been able to give a 1 earned run or fewer in all 3. Strikeout numbers are improving, and the Dodgers went on to win all those games and cover the run line along the way. I got to go with LA in this game on the money line and run line on the road. Next up, we see the Miami Marlins taking on the San Francisco Giants. We got Edward Cabrera for Miami, no official starter for San Francisco. I'm leaning towards the under and the Giants on the run line in this game. I do think Cabrera, with the amount of home runs he's given up recently, could find himself in trouble in this game. San Francisco's been very home run dependent recently. Their offense really doesn't do much unless they hit a couple of bombs. I think they'll be able to get to Cabrera for a couple of home runs in this outing. But I also think Cabrera, outside of those mistake pitches, will be able to put together a decent outing. I mean, his last game against the Rockies, it was 5 1/3 innings, 3 runs, 8 strikeouts. He gave up a home run, ended up being a Marlins loss, but it wasn't necessarily a miserable start. It just was a couple of mistake pitches given up from Cabrera. The same thing goes with that previous outing against the Diamondbacks. So I think San Francisco wins this game, and I think the game goes under the total as well, because I don't think that the Marlins do too much offensively. Give me San Francisco in the under. Next up, we see the final game for the Saturday card in Major League Baseball. It's the Seattle Mariners and the Los Angeles Angels. We got Tyler Anderson and Brian Wu on the mound. Now, Brian Wu has put together a really strong campaign, a 6-2 record, 2.05 ERA. It's kind of been overlooked because of the Mariners' struggles as a team over this season. But I mean, Wu has been excellent. And when you look on the other side, Anderson's not been the best in the second half of the year. We've seen some really tough outings, like the game against the Blue Jays on August 14th. Even the start against the Royals, where he gave up 11 base hits and 4 earned runs. So while the Mariners' offense is not great, when you look at the Angels in the month of August, they've been dreadful against right-handed pitching. So I think this is still a good spot for the Mariners to pick up the win and the run line cover. Give me Seattle laying the 1.5 runs in this one to end the night. And that's it. Those are the games for Saturday in baseball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Put those baseball picks in the comments section below. And again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.